two college radio DJs during the 90s. Hosts Keith and Steve helped expose bands like Nirvana, Pavement, and PJ Harvey. They went to shows, interviewed musicians, and reviewed albums for various zines and papers. They worked security at concerts and once even did load-in for Fish. Now they're dads. Whether you want to explore lesser-known music or take a trip down memory lane, tune in to the New Dad Rock. Join hosts Keith and Steve as they navigate the ages together, sharing their love of music across various eras and genres. Always well-intentioned, often well-informed, seldom boring, the New Dad Rock will expand your mind.
Penultimate cacophonous zeitgeist Aradze Pazuzu.
Uncle Darren on the New Dad Rock. Woo!
Did I pass?
Dude, I can't believe you're such a global sensation, Darren. Tell me what it's like being a global superstar.
It sucks. I don't recommend it at all. There's nothing good about it.
Dude, actually, I believe you. That would be totally what would happen. Which is exactly the reason you're not a global
superstar. That is what you are. Welcome to another episode of the New Dad Rock.
Yeah. Thanks for keep having me on. This is becoming a regular thing.
Hey, Darren, I gotta tell you one.
The old Uncle Techno. And hey, we have some questions from the audience too.
Okay.
If you want to take some.
Yes, I'd love to.
Okay, the first one is for Keith. It says here, Keith, you mentioned you were a security guard one time at a show. So hypothetically, if someone passed you a joint while working security at a show, what would you do?
Well, I mean, now
This is at the Indigo Girls, by the way, right, Keith?
Yeah. Here's my point. Now I would take it. Also, now I wouldn't take it. Like, it's legal everywhere. So, like, this is totally a temporal question. The question that comes out of the olden times, like 4 years ago. So, I mean, if someone handed me a joint when I put it in my pocket, yes. If they kept it, that'd be cool too. Next question.
Okay, the next question is for the both of you. It's really a yes or no. Can you have two favorite bands at the same time?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. It's called polygamy.
Okay, great. Next question. Next question is for Steve. So you wrote for the Splendid zine, and you did reviews. Any regrets? Any reviews that you did that you years later you're like, oh man, I shouldn't have gave that review to that album?
Not really. There was one that I was a little harsh, and it was like a dad and like his 3 kids, and they seemed to have, big aspirations and, a solid Christian upbringing. And, the extent of their song was like the Peter Gunn theme, like the dun 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 dun. And I basically likened the album to child abuse. Like, I was suggesting that the man was abusing his children by making them play this music. Jesus. And he wrote me. Yeah. And it was like just in my Yahoo email account, which I don't use anymore, but he went straight in, and he was so angry. Of course he was. I look back, and, I only knew the editor of the site from, via an email relationship. I met him once or twice in person live. But at this point, I don't think I knew him. And he was like, yeah, just so you know, this came in. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But yeah, I still stand by it. Nice. But that was as close as I felt to regret. Other than having to listen to the album by Cloud Cult, that was a devastating album to listen to, and I had to listen to it critically and write about it. So
wait, why?
Why
was Cloud Cult the problem?
The guy lost a very young son, under 2 years old, and it was an album basically the cathartic release upon him mourning his son's loss, and it was a very deep emotional album. And at the time, my wife was pregnant with our first child, so from my perspective, you were the terrified. Whole fear of exactly
putting the dad in the New Dad Rock. Thank you for coming out tonight.
We got one more question.
Oh, go.
Okay, this is a true or false. Neutral Milk Hotels in the airplane over the sea is visible on the new Dad Rock logo. True or false?
Oh my god.
Well,
I'm gonna answer.
I know the answer to this,
You know?
but I know the answer because I made the logo.
Okay.
So you should go.
Well,
see.
I'm gonna assume based on the question the answer is yes. But that's me totally guessing. Steve, you made it. What do you say?
It's false.
Oh! Are you serious? It's so fucked up. Okay.
It's just it's the side view of a bunch of vinyls I have, and I know I don't have that record on vinyl.
Oh.
Or
Darn, that
or-
was so messed up, dude.
That was the trick
Yeah.
question, yeah.
I know.
I have
job.
Olivia Tremor controlled Dusk at Cubist Castle. Or no, excuse me. You know what I mean.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. Darren, you have any more questions? Because I got a question.
Well, okay, I have one more.
Yeah, please.
It's for Steve. Did you ever learn to play an instrument?
I can sort of play guitar a little bit. Like, I know some chords, and with practice, like, I can play a little bit.
He wrote that song. I have played... Darren, I played that song like 5 or 10 times, which isn't really that much, Steve, for us. But it was, footsteps that lead to the beach. Yeah. Anyway, I got a record version of it. I'll share it.
How many pairs of parachute pants did you have?
I don't think I had any.
I never got any either.
Yeah.
I was bummed. I did go to like
I
break
wanted a pair, but I never got one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, should we get them all for our like promotional poster? That'd be cool. I assume they make them.
The new Dad Rock 2 Electric Boogaloo.
Dude, man, that's how we actually pay for this whole thing. Is like we sell gear, but it's parachute pants with the new Dad Rock moniker. It's gonna be awesome.
Ooh.
That's
Yeah.
a good idea, actually.
Because you charge a lot. Like, you're not trying to sell 10 of them. You're trying to sell like 3. like actually, we should just use like Patreon to do this, right? Like, what we offer is shirts that we buy for $100 or $50, but we sell them for like 250. But Kanye, man, like, you don't make music, you make clothes. That's the way you go. By the way, Nelson, why'd you text me about his song today? Were you listening to it?
So I'm so far outside of the Kanye world and so far behind in popular music that as of today, in the year 2021, I realized that a song by Kanye from 2008? Mm-hmm. What is that from? I realized it was just him rapping over a Can song. Like, it's literally a song by Can that he just does his lines over. Like, and there's even sections of the song you hear the backing vocals by Cam. So it's what was the name of the song?
I don't want to say it. It's Drunk and Something Girls.
Drunk and Hot Girls by Kanye.
How'd you come across this? How'd you come across it? Spotify recommended to you, or it played in your stream, or what?
I was honestly putting together a summer playlist, and so I was like searching through other songs, and I was like, oh, what is this Kanye song? And I listened to it, and I'm like 10 seconds in, I was like, oh my god, this is Can. It's Sing Swan Song. That's a kind of a tongue twister. From their seminal album, which I can't even pronounce either. It's Edgy by Benyari or Benyaji or whatever. It's Turkish. Anyway. Finally, 13 years later, I listened to it today and I was like, I played it for Kristen. I'm like, hey, do you know this song? And she was like, what?
Yeah, dude. Did you ever listen to the Jesus album by Kanye? Like, I went to the...
Yeezus?
No, it was... Jesus is King, right? Is that what it was called, Darren?
No.
It's a newer one, right?
Yeah, his last one, a couple years ago. There was an IMAX movie that went with it, and I went to the IMAX movie at the Metreon in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, I just realized I was listening to one of the major songs from his Breakthrough album from 2008 today, so no, I haven't heard that one.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. How do you remember a particular album, Darren?
Interesting question. I remember the cover art.
Do you?
Usually.
Wow.
Like if I said to you guys Siamese Dream, what pops into your head?
I think double
Those
album.
girls, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, no, that's not double album. No, you know what I think? I actually played that at orientation in Geneseo, my first year as an orientation advisor. So like 95? Is that when it came out? This is summer of 94 maybe. That album might be in my top 10 Desert Island albums.
I think up until 1995, maybe I might have thought that.
Okay, maybe you're right.
For me, that album has not held up well. Like, I loved Mayonnaise. I thought that was one of the greatest songs ever. I listen to it now and I'm like, this is a little bit annoying.
Darren, what's your opinion of Smashing Pumpkins overall? Like, what's your vibe?
Yeah, Siamese Dream is definitely where it's at. I mean, I think the sound of the whatever overdrive distortion he's using on the guitarist, Billy Corgan, amazing.
For me, that was one of those albums, like Gish, I thought was fantastic. I loved Gish, and I was so excited for Siamese Dream to come out, and then it came out and then met expectations. I feel like so few times does that happen, but when it happens, like, that's what made Smashing Pumpkins huge.
Oh, I see. 2 albums in a row, 1 and 2. Yeah, that's quite possible.
When people are expecting you to deliver, and you do deliver, and it's awesome, that's what makes you huge.
Darren, we only have 5 minutes left. Explain Daft Punk to us. Because I don't think me or Steve are natural Daft Punk fans. I like it more than Steve, is my bet. But
And why is Daft Punk playing in my house? My house.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I think you think I'm a bigger Daft Punk fan than I actually am. I mean, I appreciate them. I liked Defunk, that song that came out in, 96, 97? I mean, that was an amazing little 303 line in that song. But I like them. I like the aspect of, like, them kind of creating personas and covering their face and not, no longer being human. And they had an amazing live show, that whole Pyramid tour that they did. So I actually caught them a couple different cities on that tour. But I don't know. I mean, it's kind of interesting. There's a YouTube video out there that kind of breaks down, like, all the samples that they used on Discovery, one of their albums. And it's kind of like Paul's Boutique. Like, I mean, that album is made up of, like, hundreds of samples. And it's the same kind of thing with Daft Punk's Discovery. It's like so many different samples that they took. And it's like, are they genius or are they, like, rip-off artists? I'm not really sure. Sure.
If you have that taste in music and that knowledge of music and you can put it together, that is certainly an art of some form. But I agree with you, like, are they genius or do they have a really good musical knowledge? And
well,
I guess that is a form of genius. It's just
totally.
not the musical genius
No.
maybe of another comparable band.
It's like what you think from a collages. Like, people make collages, and we see collages, and we're like, collages are cool. And like, collages in art. This is a music or audio collage. And, like, I agree, there's, like, a spectrum on which different things, but that's the same thing with, like, bands that want to play, like, all live, and, like, it could be jammy, and, like, you're playing the set list. Like, so when Depeche Mode plays, are they jamming on the songs at all? Or is it they're hitting their notes and it's basically theater? Pink Floyd is also, I think, theater. How much
Iron Maiden is definitely theater.
How much jammy is on the Depeche Mode? Like 0%? 2%? Is it all MIDI controlled from a single god computer?
Well, I think, I mean, there's a structure to it, right? They can't just start doing whatever, and they have to kind of respect how the song is programmed, because they don't use a lot of backing tracks, but they use percussion. They use some samples that are really hard to reproduce live.
It's totally math, right? So here's the difference. So we're saying that Depeche Mode is like 16 bars of this, 4 bars of that, 8 bars of that, or whatever, and like a band like Fish, and I think the OCs and the Lizard Wizard Gizzard, maybe though that could be super free jazz, right? Like, as a musician, like, I'm totally Like, it's one thing to hit all your notes all the time. It's one thing to be like Eric Clapton and hit your blues notes on solo over something. But it's a whole thing as a band to come out and deliver, like, a spectrum. Like, Mouse jams their songs. Fish jams their songs. Miles Davis jams their songs.
Queen jams their songs.
Totally, okay. They keep going. But Iron Maiden doesn't. Depeche Mode doesn't. Mouse does. Alright, cool. Hey, thanks, Darren, for coming again. It was great to see you.
Is
I can't
Papa
see him.
What?
Papa Roach dead rock?
Papa Roach is not anyone's rock. That's shit
That's
should
Papa.
be.
It's Papa Roca.
Where is cancel culture when you need it?
Dude, it's like 10 years too late.
Well, thank you for joining us yet again, listeners, on this epic journey, and thank you, Darren.
Hey, thanks, Darren, for coming back. I don't know, half a dozen times now.
Thank you, Darren, once again. It's been a blast having you.
Thanks,